Today, I am here to talk about many different things, like today's NASCAR Cup Series race out at the Pocono Raceway, the High Point 400, where we saw Denny Hamlin getting the job done there. And I'm also going to give y'all my full-on predictions for this upcoming Sunday's Cookout 400 out at the Richmond Raceway, because I believe it's going to be a very chaotic and exciting weekend for the sport of NASCAR. So a lot to talk about here today. I'm also doing a Pick 5 contest, but enough said here, and on to the intro we go.
I'm Chase Briscoe, driver number 14 Ford Mustang for Stewart Haas Racing, and you're watching William Blackwell on YouTube.
Yes, I am filming this on a Sunday night, and it's coming out a Monday afternoon. But today's race, though, at Pocono was very exciting. We saw the poleman, William Byron, pretty much stay up front in the early stages of the race. And the first half of the race, to be honest with you, was a snooze fest. It was hard to pass, and not many exciting things were happening. But at the end of stage 2, we saw a caution, I believe, for a Christopher Bell spin with 4 to go. The stage under caution. And stage 2 started up. We had like 3 back-to-back wrecks. We saw one with the 5. We saw one with the 22 car and the 99 car. That right there hurt the 99 car in the points because things are looking close for him heading into Pocono. But right now, he sits below the cut line, minus 23, which is not a big gap, but it can add up very easily. And we're now heading to a track in Richmond where Trackhouse Racing has been somewhat competitive at in the past. So I kind of got good hopes for him this weekend, but not a good outing in Pocono. And then also we saw another one. And as the race progressed, we saw some controversial stuff. Like we saw Tyler Reddick supposedly turn the 3-car of Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon got mad, threw his helmet at Tyler Reddick's car, or tried to, and he missed by a mile. Like Austin Dillon, you got to work on your throwing skills. He damn near hit the 6 car. Completely missed the 45 car. But we saw the replay. It was pretty clear that Austin Dillon just came down and crowded the 45. The 45 got tight and nowhere to go, and boom, hit the 3. It's a racing incident. There's no one at fault in my opinion. And then the race continued on. It was pretty dull. And we see the 14 car. Caution comes out. He spun around by the pit road, and we see the replay. Ty Dillon turned the 14 car. And I am a Chase Briscoe fan, and I will say this. I am very disappointed on what happened today in Pocono. He was running around late in the pack, 30s. I'm talking about the 30s. Stewart Haas Racing has no purpose of being that far back. And Chase Briscoe, he's got a new crew chief, Richard Boswell, but he's not completely new to him. They worked together in the past in the Xfinity Series, and they got 9 wins in 2020. That is unheard of. And for him to finally be paired up with the crew chief he was successful with, and just to run 30th in the overall race standings, that's not good. That's not cutting it. And Richard Boswell was very harsh and very critique of Briscoe today's race. Whenever he would ask Briscoe, I was listening to his radio, he was asking, like, what do you think about that? Does the car need to be changed? He said, yes. I was like, no, it doesn't, because we're running 31st. And it'd take a round out, put a round in, and they just figured at the end, a quarter of a round was all it needed. And then by the time they figured it out, it was too late. So, and he also got wrecked, and he did not stand up for himself. He's got to stand up for himself. He should have went to Ty Dillon and talked things out. I'm not saying he should have threw fists with him, but he should have went down there and talked to him and sorted things out, because he should not be getting treated like that. And no one should be in general. And at the end, we saw Alex Bowman and Denny Hamlin tackle on a restart, bring out another caution. Alex Bowman had the right to be mad. Denny Hamlin did not touch him, but he did take his air away, which caused him to aerodynamically spin around. And it brought out the caution. And next thing you know, on the following restart, Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson going into turn 1. And off of turn 2, next thing you know, the 11 crowds the 5 into the wall. The 5 comes down and crowds the 11 on the apron. And he got Martin Truex Jr. behind him and Kevin Harvick. So 4 cars below the apron. They're just trying to get the toe they need just to have speed going into the tunnel turn. And next thing you know, caution comes out for Justin Haley. But when the caution came out for Justin Haley, we saw an incident on the front stretch involving Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson, where Kyle Larson used his vehicle as a weapon. He was in the inside of Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin was out by the wall. Kyle Larson bumped into the 11 car, and the 11 did not really retaliate at all. And what I believe happened there on that restart was just a fair racing thing. Kyle Larson does have the right to be mad. He's a competitive driver. He was going for the win. But Denny Hamlin, that's going for the win, though. You really can't point fingers at one another. The media is making it too big. Because we all know if the roles were reversed and Kyle Larson did that to Denny Hamlin, everybody's going to be applauding him for doing that. It's just a driver and just a situation. That's all it is. It's a racing incident. And when we saw Denny Hamlin win the race after an overtime restart, it was a 3-lap shootout at the end. And Ryan Preece spun around coming into white flag, and NASCAR did not throw the caution. He stalled it out. They eventually did, but it was too late because they were entering the tunnel turn. Denny Hamlin picked up win number 2 of the season, and now things are looking good for him in the playoffs, because right now I believe he's up to 4th place, and that right there rewards a lot of regular season championship points. So we'll see how things go there for Denny Hamlin. But Kyle Larson, though, he was very upset, and so were the fans. The fans, let me tell you, they were booing the crap out of Denny Hamlin as soon as he was doing his burnouts and all that stuff. And I don't know. I guess noise, regardless if it's good or bad, is better than none. I don't know who I heard it from, but I've heard it a while back, and it just stuck with me till then. There was some noise. That's a good thing. It's a boo for Denny Hamlin, but you know what? People care. And I believe the sport of NASCAR is in a good position right now. We got the heroes and we got the villains, and today we saw a villain go to victory lane, and we saw some fans get upset. But we all know when a hero goes to victory lane, it's going to be a very rewarding day, and it's going to be a good day for the sport. But for right now, we got villains like Denny Hamlin going to victory lane. So there you go. I will say this. I called it a week ago. I told y'all Denny Hamlin was going to win the High Point 400. But, though, the $1 million question is going to be, will he win the Cookout 400 at the Richmond Raceway, his home track? Let's talk about that now. This Sunday, when the NASCAR Cup Series heads out to the Richmond Raceway to race in the Cookout 400, there is a very significant chance of severe thunderstorms. And with that being a strong possibility, it leads to the possibility with Richmond having lights for this race to be a night race. And with it possibly being a night race, I believe it is going to open up the doors for many other teams to join into the battle and could potentially contend for the race win. And saying that, I believe we're going to see a first-time winner in the 2023 season, and a driver that will be going to victory lane this weekend in Richmond in the Cookout 400 is going to be Kevin Happy Harvick in the number 4 car for Stewart-Haas Racing. Right now, Kevin Harvick is on his farewell tour. He's wanting to go to victory lane and also make the playoffs. If he wins here at Richmond, he's in the playoffs 100%. If he doesn't win, he's still going to probably make it in on points, because right now we're at the point where we got 5 remaining races and there are 5 remaining spots. So if we don't see a new winner here in Richmond, we're going to see at least one driver make it in on points, because we got Richmond, we got Indianapolis, we got Michigan, we got Watkins going to Daytona. Daytona is definitely going to be a wild card, so will Indianapolis, but these races right here is going to be very interesting, and Harvick, I believe, has just been competitive. So this Sunday night, it's going to end at night regardless. Regardless if it starts in the day, it's going to go late. But regardless, though, the winner is going to be Kevin Harvick. He's going to be in the playoffs, and he's going to start building up momentum. And it's scary because Kevin Harvick is always good in the playoffs. And all he needs is a little bit of momentum, and a win right here in Richmond is going to be all the momentum he needs. Trust me, Kevin Harvick will go to victory lane. I called it last week of Denny Hamlin. This week, Kevin Harvick. Second place, though, will be Denny Hamlin. I believe, even though he's not going to go to victory lane this Sunday in Richmond, I believe he's going to be very competitive. He's going to be up front. He's going to lead a lot of laps. He's going to win at least one stage. And at the end, I believe it's going to be a caution because Richmond is so darn close to the playoffs. And when we start getting towards playoff time, a lot of drivers at the end of the races feel like they got to make a move. And sometimes a move may involve a wreck, and we may see a caution here and there. And I believe the 11 car is going to be a long run car. And at the end of this race, we're going to see a caution come out, and Harvick is just going to toast him on a restart and get the checker flag for the first time this year. Third place, though, is going to be the 48 car of Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman this year has been very hit or miss. At the beginning of the year, he was full hit, getting top 10s, contending for wins week in and week out. And when he got injured and he broke his back and missed a lot of time, Alex Bowman, when he came back, was not competitive at all. He has yet to score top 10 since Coda back in March. And it's very worrying for him because Alex Bowman is still with the possibility of pointing his way in. He's a little over a race out, in my opinion. So he needs to have a good day here in Richmond, and I believe he'll come home in third place. He was going for a solid top 10 in Pocono until he got involved with the 11 car, just a racing deal. But yeah, Alex Bowman needs some points. Not necessarily a win, but he can still point his way in, and I believe he's going to grab solid points in Richmond. Fourth place is going to be the 5 car of Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson, no matter what machinery you put him in and no matter what series you put him in, he's going to be competitive. And I believe he's going to be competitive here this weekend in Richmond, a track he's won that in the past, including this past spring, where he beat Josh Berry at the end, his teammate at the time, because Josh Berry was filling in for the injured Chase Elliott. But Kyle Larson coming home in fourth place. Fifth place is going to be the 1 car of Ross Chastain. Ross Chastain, in my opinion, ever since Nashville, or if you take Nashville out the picture, he's been struggling for a long period of time now, because Nashville was a good race. Today in Pocono was not really good at all. Nothing to brag about. New Hampshire wasn't no good, and so wasn't Atlanta. Chicago was nowhere to be found. And then he won at Nashville, obviously, and Sonoma was pretty rough. And then Gateway was rough. Charlotte was rough. And it goes back to Darlington, where he was last contending for the win. And that's when he got very criticized, and there were supposedly talks being made behind closed doors of him and Justin Marks to calm things down and reel things back. But do y'all really believe something is getting the Chastain work, that conversation that took place with Justin Marks is slowing him down on track? Because ever since that happened, he's never been the same, besides Nashville. And it's kind of worrying because Chastain was the points leader for the longest time ever. Now he finds himself 99 points out from first place. What's happening? Did that talk really change him, the way he races? I don't know. I'm starting to lose faith with the one team right now and Trackhouse Racing in general. But I got them coming home in fifth, and that's going to be a big if, but time will tell there. And my dark horse, there's really not many drivers you can consider as a dark horse right now as we're closing in on the playoffs. But my dark horse is going to be the 14 car Chase Briscoe. He ran here 12th in the spring. I'm not saying he's going to win a race, but a top 5, top 10 is definitely on the table if he can get the strategy right. Earlier, I did mention his crew chief, Richard Boswell, how they were going back and forth. They were angry. They were mad at one another because they wanted to be good. They wanted to be up in the leaderboard. And this is a track they were really good at in the past together, so expect Chase Briscoe to be towards the sharp end of the field. But there you go. Kevin Harvick picking up his first career win in the 2023 season. Denny Hamlin in second place. Third place would be Alex the Showman Bowman. Fourth place would be Kyle Larson. Fifth place would be Ross Chastain. Dark horse would be Chase Briscoe. The weather is not looking good at all for an on-time start. So we expect a Sunday night race, and we're not going to end it out right here. We're going to take a look at the point standings. But there you go. Harvick wins the Cookout 400, but now on to the points we go. We are now just with 5 races remaining in the regular season for the NASCAR Cup Series. We got Richmond. We got the Indianapolis Road Course. We got Michigan, Watkins Glen, and the biggest wild card of them all, Daytona. And right now, in the 15th place in the points, we got the 23 car of Bubba Wallace from 2311 Racing, plus 26 to the good. And I am feeling really good about this right now. Because if you're in 16th place, that right there, you've got to expect someone else to win at Daytona. So Bubba Wallace is at a good sweet spot. I believe that 9-point margin over Michael McDowell, who is plus 17 over the cut line in 16th place. that is a good gap for Bubba Wallace. I believe we're not going to see many different winners below Wallace in the point standings win besides maybe Daytona. So if you're wanting to point your way in, you're going to probably make your way or try to make your way up to 15th place, because 16th place, you got to expect a winner and you're going to be the first man out. Just look at Martin Truex Jr. a year ago. Very unfortunate there. Truex is on a tear this year, so hopefully he can go out on a high note if he retires, which I believe he will. But Bubba Wallace plus 26, Michael McDowell plus 17, they gained a lot of points today. Big deal for them in Pocono. AJ Allmendinger gained a good amount of points also. He's minus 17. He's well in contention here. The cars in the back, like maybe if the 31 and 38 and 7 were about 17 points out, that right there may take 1 to 2 weeks just because the speed they got. You know, these teams right here are not just scoring many stage points like they should be. Like, for instance, we all know Michael McDowell is good. We know that he has some good results here and there, and Chase Elliott does also. But what's the difference between the two is Michael McDowell is not consistently scoring stage points like Chase Elliott is. And those add up over time. So that's why I believe Allmendinger minus 17, that's still going to be a little over a race to gain. It's not going to happen within a race. I just don't believe it at all. And then Daniel Suarez, he lost a lot of points today. He came in today's race below the cut line by a few points. Now he's below at 23. Lost 21 points. And not a good day for him. He wrecked out. Hopefully he can turn things around at a track where Trackhouse racing has been good at in the past, but not really race winners. But maybe they can go out here this weekend and score a lot of points, because that's what Daniel Suarez needs. They need to turn things around as an organization. And Ty Gibbs, minus 28. Ty Gibbs, if he did not finish bad in New Hampshire, I said this last week, he would be damn near close to Michael McDowell. I don't know the exact situation, but he'd be within points, single digits, easily. He finished very bad last week. He could probably be in there. Minus 28. I believe he could have been real close, but he would have been in 17th place at the highest. But Ty Gibbs back, minus 28. And right now with Kevin Harvick, I believe winning Richmond is not going to be a factor at all, because Harvick is above Bubba Wallace in the point standing. So there's going to be 4 remaining spots. There's 4 remaining races after Richmond. So we'll see how things go there. I don't really expect many different winners. Maybe in Indianapolis, definitely in Daytona, Michigan and Watkins Glen. We're probably going to see a same time winner this year. Maybe a Byron or a Larson or a Hamlin or a Truex at Watkins Glen. I don't know. But time will tell there. But everybody, though, remember to please like and subscribe. And I will see you guys tomorrow for a very fun video.